What's up, everybody? It's me. It's me. I don't have a third thing for that. Gonna get that Daisy tax out of the way early. Hi, baby. How you doing? Yo. Sometimes she likes looking at the camera. Sometimes not. You wanna hang out right here in my lap? You go nap. Anyway, those of you who don't know me, my name is Adam S. I am GM of the Copperheads, League Dad, and all-around pantsless person whenever possible. Although I guess I'm wearing pants right now, but I have adult responsibilities today, so I have one adult responsibility today. And just over here, where you can't see, is my wife playing video games and judging me. So, not really, not really judging, but so it's Wednesday. I know that's the usual day from a show. It just kind of worked out that way this week. We had an interesting week, obviously. I'm sure it'll get in the questions, so I'm not going to go into it too much right at this particular second. But I will hit the most important topic in the entire league right now, which is, how come my team sucks? What is that about? I demand we resim all games till we're 5-0. No, obviously, we're off to a slow start this year. We had stuff happen in the off season that I'm not going to dwell on that helped contribute, as Joe smolders angrily in the corner. So we also had a very tough schedule right out of the gate. OCO and Colorado and New Orleans, like boom, boom, boom. You're talking like top 3 scoring teams or some of the best records in the league. Well, they were until the Yeti just absolutely shit the bed the other day. Granted, we lost to San Jose, so it's not like I can really complain. Or not like I can really talk that much crap about it. Season is definitely going a little slower than anticipated. Sorry, I'm off screen here quietly, making sure that all the labels on this soda are off, so that there's no, identifying factors, so that I can't get hit with some random bullshit on YouTube, because I always put these on YouTube. It's a good soda. It got its doctorate somewhere. I'll let you figure that out. But yeah, we are moving. A couple of people kind of quietly asking about that, put in questions. As far as I know, I haven't looked at questions yet. But we're still moving. We're still trying. We're working on just the future. As it sits right now, even if the rest of the season doesn't go well, it means we have 2 top 4 picks and a pretty decent class. Okay, we're loaded with picks. Let's go. Let's just keep going. You can't bet everything on one season and then just fall apart when it doesn't work. You just gotta keep moving forward. That's all you can do. We've run into some retirements. We've run into another thing that we're still not talking about. Just obstacles. But our goal has always been and always will be to think long term. So even though season 19 isn't working out the way we thought it was going to, season 20 comes next, season 21 comes next, season 22 comes next. Like, these things exist. You can't just lay on the floor and pout. You gotta keep at it. And in our case, that means just continuing to improve wherever we can. I mean, even this season, our defense is great. We're one of only 3 teams who hasn't given up 30 points yet. I'm sure I just cursed myself. We're going to give up 30 points today since we're on the road against Baltimore. But our defense has been good. The one and only real defensive player of the year, Chase Jensen, has been doing very well. I want to repeat that again for those of you who apparently didn't get the message. Your guy wasn't the defensive player of the year. He wasn't. He just wasn't. I know you like him. He didn't set records. Chase Jensen set records. Chase Jensen is the defensive player of the year. And the defensive back of the year. The numbers don't lie. The real numbers, not the ones you prefer. It's like a triple joke right there. So, yeah, our defense was kind of, I mean, it was viewed as sort of our weakest part last season, but a good chunk of why that happened was because we played a very high pace, and so our defense was having to be on the field more and more and more, and so it gave up more points than other defenses did. It's just math. But yeah, we're still working, still looking behind the scenes. If you're, well, I don't want to go into too many details. I don't want to give away strategic stuff. Strategery. So what I'll do then is not click on this totally fucked werewolf game. It doesn't make any sense. That clearly y'all didn't put as much thought into it as you should have. And I'm gonna jump into questions, because why not? Why not? Okay, C-Dub. Oh wow, C-Dub. I haven't gotten a question for you, I think. Nice. By the way, I like your SIG. Who made that? Why, according to some league officials, is Chicago the favorite to win the Ultimates in season 21? What league officials are this? Why? I'm trying to envision a scenario in which that would actually happen. I guess if they get an influx of offensive talent in the skill positions, Rose Jenkins isn't exactly a slouch of a quarterback. So in season 21, 2 seasons from now, she'd be well over 1,000 TPE. So if you had, say, a couple of receivers who decided they were going to go mercenary themselves and go to Chicago, I guess, things went right. I still don't see them as the favorite. I definitely don't see them as a favorite with a U in there because I'm American and we don't put random unnecessary U's in the word favorite. Get the white flat. Is this one of those where you just ask some shit to break my brain so y'all can make gifs of me looking confused? I bet it is. Not complaining, just saying. I don't know. Because hell has frozen over and aliens have come down to the earth and the sim is the sim. I don't have a good answer for this. I don't think you expected a good answer for this, but I don't have a good answer for this. Usually when people do stuff like that, it's for their own team. You didn't even do that. Alright, thank you for your question, crazy bastard. Eco, what are your general thoughts on the state of the league after what happened the past couple of days? See, I knew somebody was going to ask. I love that it's a member of head office who's like, well, let's just put it out there. State of the league is not as strong as it was 4 days ago. But, I mean, no, let me let's talk about what we lost in the last couple of days, okay? For whatever your view is of the technicalities of how the process happened, the end result is that Dylan felt screwed over and cheated. You can argue all day long about whether that's accurate or blah 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 blah, and that's happened. That's happened in public and it's happened in private where most of y'all didn't see. Whatever the technicalities of what happened are, the reality is he felt certain ways and he made his decision for certain reasons. And so we were out Simmer, we were out DSFL GM, we were out head of recruitment, and we're out just generally a good user. And as a sidebar, it allowed the biggest asshole in the league to come in and pretend that he's like just criticizing why he left when really you got caught being a jerk to this guy, and now this is your chance for revenge. And I know what that is, and if you keep it up, I'm gonna call you on it. But Dylan's a pretty damn good user. He's somebody that, I mean, even in his retirement thread, he had somebody in there like, this is the guy who's helped me the most since I came in the league. This is what he did. And then you have the bad feelings that still exist. However much of the technical side may be resolved, I guess you could say, there's still bad feelings. People feel like it didn't go the way it should have, or things happened that shouldn't have. I feel like there are things that happened that shouldn't have. I don't think HO should be able to just amend a contract that's not within your stated powers. And HO has a bad habit lately of doing things that aren't within your stated powers. But that's secondary to the way the team feels. And I'm not in the Philadelphia locker room, so I can't tell you exactly how the team feels, but I can guess. It's not great. The GMs don't feel great. The former GM who was involved doesn't feel great. You know, the guy who owns the site is pointing that out. And then you've got Dwyer, and this was obviously, for those who didn't read his retirement or his announcement that he'd be stepping down, the short version is he's had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of very serious stuff in his life, and this became more like a job for him, and he's gotten tired of being waiting for everything. It became a toxic environment for him at some point, and I don't think he really told anyone that. I don't think anyone really knew. So it gets very rough. Because if somebody's hurting and you don't know, you're just going to continue acting like nothing's wrong. And I mean, the league has a history of crapping all over the commissioner, whoever that may be. And he himself participated when it was the prior commissioner. This is, whether or not that's a good thing is a side point. It's its own topic, I should say. But the fact is, he was hurting, and we didn't know. Or those of us who may have known he was having some difficulty didn't understand the extent of it. Or I could say I didn't, maybe somebody else did. And so we lost someone who's been here since the beginning, one of the inaugural GMs, who was involved unwillingly in the league's biggest scandal of all time, because he was the GM of note when was running around with his multis. And now he's got to go deal with personal stuff that he should have dealt with before, but clearly felt like he was indebted to sticking around the league and working and yada yada yada. And this is a point I actually made to the HOs in GM chat yesterday, which is that maybe we need to consider something like HO term limits. I don't know if that's the right answer. It's an idea to start the conversation, because HOs do have a tendency, and I've been there, I know it, they do have a tendency to sort of feel like you just keep slogging after you're done. After it's done being a good thing for you, you just keep going because you feel like the league needs you. Well, and of course there's the problem that comes along with that. The answer to my suggestion, of course, is we don't really get any applications now, even though we've had multiple HO interns lately. That's not really representative of what it's been for the most part. I'd like it to be representative of what it will be going forward. That'd be nice. So yeah, I'm wrapping a lot of stuff in here, I know, but if something's not fun for you, don't do it. Which doesn't even begin to touch on the personal issues he's going through and the mental health obstacles he's having to deal with right now. think the other half of if it's not fun for you, don't do it is if something's getting to you, even if it's normal teasing or the stuff we would normally consider to be playing around, like if people don't know that it's affecting you, they can't respond appropriately. So if something's affecting you, let people know. It's pretty much that simple. If anybody has a problem with the fact that you take something personally, fuck them. I mean, fuck them. I don't mean fuck them. Like, I'm not saying, you get where I'm going. We need to be better about the community aspect. And this has come up more than once lately, so. So yeah, I think the league is lessened because we lost stuff. Now that said, not just we lost stuff. Sorry, I just spent all that time enumerating who these guys were and what they did to the league and what they're going through. And then I ended with we lost stuff. No, we lost important people for things that were maybe preventable. And I think that's the biggest problem is that I feel like most of it was preventable. Had we been on top of it, had we been aware of it, had we been pushing for that sort of culture, which is something we should do going forward. So that all really, really, really sucks. On the flip side of that, it didn't take us long to bounce back. We had enough people in place and enough ability to kind of get to the meat of we need to cover this area, we need to cover this job, we need to, replace this person, as it were. I'm not going to step on the HO's toes and do a bunch of announcements or anything, but I know they're up to stuff. We took care of things pretty quickly, and that's a good thing. You never want to be in a situation where you have to prove that you're stable enough to handle huge losses in a very short time, but we were in a situation where we were stable enough to handle huge losses in a very short time. So that's a win. It's a win within a loss, I guess. I think it could end up being a very positive thing the last couple of days because we saw some things firsthand that maybe we didn't notice or see, and we can go forward addressing them and hopefully try to avoid a lot of this going forward. So there's my essay on the subject. I'll go ahead and go to the next question, but this aspect of things is definitely one of those topics that if we keep chatting about this as a group, as a community, as 150 plus of us that there are, what do we do next? How do we avoid these things? What can happen now? Even if we go back and look at prior behavior, I was never a fan of the crap Dermott got before Dwyer even. Somebody made an entire website, for fuck's sake. And you think he liked that? No. Just saying. If we dwell on these things to a degree, if we talk about these things, if we figure out, oh, here's what we were doing that we thought was okay, and clearly it really wasn't, that's how you grow going forward. So this aspect of the whole situation is a good thing to talk about. Whether or not someone had an accurate view of all the particular details while they were upset and angry is not the topic to talk about. Because it goes nowhere, does nothing, gets nobody anything, and it doesn't change what's happened. So I like to focus on things that could change what comes next. Next question is, we failed to prep and stream the off-season file in time this season, which in the past has led to SYN and update errors. Huh, I hadn't noticed. How was your experience with errors this time around? Do you think we're getting better or worse at this? I feel like Eco is purposely setting me up for topics he knows I want to talk about. Okay, so preseason. I know some of you hate preseason. because things aren't perfect. But I'm going to say it again. The reason things aren't perfect in preseason is so that things are perfect when the season starts. And we have a very clear history of not being able to make that work without using preseason. Of multiple seasons in a row of major errors going into week one. Like week one, our biggest error this year was a random bot running back who took a third of our carries, and we lost a very close game. I think other teams had some other issues. I think I may have heard about somebody had a different position at wide receiver for some reason that they didn't input, or just these things happen, and they're gonna happen. You can't stop these things. It's easy to sit in an ivory tower and be like, well, they should just get it perfect. Well, fuck that. That's not gonna happen. You need some trial and error. The simple fact is 5, 6, 7 people working on something aren't necessarily going to catch everything. If you put it out there as a preseason, you get a couple of those games, and you get 100 plus people looking at it, you're going to find everything. That's one of the things about preseason is it's as much about the community finding errors as it is the people we pay for it. Because it's a big goddamn job. There's a reason we're trying to hire multiple people to do these jobs. The idea that we shouldn't have preseason because it's not perfect is just, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Like, it's the point. And no, it doesn't add a week to the offseason. It has never added a week to the offseason. If anyone ever tells you that preseason adds a week to the offseason, you can literally stop listening to all of their other opinions about everything. It doesn't. It never did. It's an already built-in time period while all the stuff is going on. So we need to suck it up and have preseason, okay? I think it doesn't matter if we're getting better at this. We're not doing the one thing we should be doing to make sure that day one, week one, regular season rosters and strats and setups are perfect and ready to go. We should not have these kind of things in our real season. We should not have these kind of things in our all-time stats. There's a robot with 8 carries on my team in my all-time stats. That's never going to change now. There's entire games where, hundreds and hundreds of missing TPE, wrong strats, this, that, and the other thing. Every team almost has some kind of story of this, and these aren't the things that should be in our real official games. That's a detriment to us in the long term, and the fact that people would rather ignore preseason and have fuck-ups during the real games is just mind-blowing to me. Because people are coming in all the time. New people. We're attracting new people. We're trying to attract new people. And let's not fix the errors and just fuck it, let's go with it. It makes us look at a level below where I think we are. So suck it up and fucking deal with preseason. That's my official. You can put that on a cupcake and I'll sign it. I don't know why I'm signing a cupcake, but you can do that. Yes, thank you, Eco, for, I think, purposely getting me to rant. That's a valuable member of head office right there. Also for your awesome on fire signature, which is cool. I never noticed that till now. Next question, Net. How much okay, I can't read. How much TDs is Net getting next season? More than you get this season? I'm very confident in saying that. Whew. I don't know. More than 6. How about that? I feel pretty confident about saying more than 6. It's going to be very interesting going forward, having 2 high-level wide receivers when you make the switch over this offseason. Very excited about it. I mean, we haven't even talked about archetype yet. Whew. But with Tidwell on one side and Gaines on the other, I think it's going to be really interesting. And this isn't to sell short. I'm not trying to accidentally sell TLK short. I want you to know I'm purposely selling TLK short. Love you, buddy. No, it's gonna be really fun. I'm very excited to see what happens, and I'm enjoying how you're doing in your last season on defense too. But you could take somebody like Vladimir Fyodorovich, who switched from cornerback to wide receiver. I think it is fourth or fifth season. So you're actually getting a little bit of a jump on someone who's had that kind of career. So we'll see. We'll see. And of course, later in your career, we'll have to switch quarterbacks. But we're going to be ready for that. So it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to game plan for this and to add that extra weapon and to have teams just not be happy that they have to face us. So, you know what? I'm going to upgrade. I'm going to upgrade your guess. You're getting 47 touchdowns next year. Maybe not. Is this the question you said was very important to you, by the way? Probably. Oh, Moody just chimed in to ask me if it was too late for questions. Please not. I'm putting him on the spot for a question while I answer the next one. Thank you, Ned. Of course. At least I didn't cough directly into the mic. Good Fortune Coffee. What team has been the biggest surprise to you, good or bad? My own. I didn't think we'd fall that. Granted, I didn't see the schedule ahead of time either, which is another thing for the question. A couple up. I like that I pointed up like I was scrolling through the questions because visually I am. Is we don't get to see the freaking schedule until almost it's on top of us. I would really like to be able to see that early for planning purposes, and I'm sure people who write media would like to be able to see the schedule early. I bet we get some cool preseason media pieces when you already know who's going to face who in the first couple of weeks, etc., etc. I don't know. I don't know if there are any big surprises. I'm surprised that San Jose just won 2 in a row on Monday, and the same day that the Yeti dropped 2 in a row, which is really weird. The teams that have been good, I expect to be good. Essentially, Arizona's a little bit of a surprise, and we're a little bit of a surprise. I expected us both to be a little more competitive than we've been. Well, not competitive, because we've been competitive, which have won. But I think Arizona might have actually had a rough start to their schedule too. If this link will click, and then I can tell you who they have played. Let's see. They played San Jose at home, where they famously. Remember when somebody joked? This just clicked in. Somebody joked that they had done test things. And it was right after week 1 when they had obliterated San Jose 62-0, which I think still might be the biggest blowout in league history. And somebody had joked that they ended up going like 3-10 in their test sim. And it's hilarious. They've lost the next 4 games. Yeah. So their other games: at Baltimore, at New Orleans, home versus us, home versus the Otters. So regardless of what our record currently is, or those are tough games. They've had a tough schedule. We've got a tough schedule. They haven't hit the easy spots yet. Of course, with this sim, you never know. We lost what was supposed to be the easiest game on our schedule, so you never know. But I think.